Hello out there to my Facebook friends, clients, and the like. My name is Jonathan Bengal here, and I'm the host of Naked Tax Talk, where we babies get naked and bear down to the naked truth about our tax lives. And we do that through personal development, business development, and of course, financial development. And I also want to address a major concern. And that is that the reason why, honeys, bunnies out there, that I show up naked on my show is because I realize that there's one way in which we garnish courage, and that is to cultivate courage by showing up the way we've always been showing up in this world, and that is the nakedness of who we really are. Nothing to hide, nothing to be ashamed of, but just to accept ourselves in all of its glory, in all of its perfection and all of its imperfection. But the whole point about this is that we are allowing ourselves to be in this moment with all of you. By the way, speaking of being authentic and being all that fun stuff, you are noticing I do have a heart monitor on. It's going to be stuck there for 14 days. The reason why is because I probably suffer from anxiety. I'll be the first to admit that. Turns out that maybe subconsciously, right, a lot of worrying. And let's be real, when you're a business owner, as an entrepreneur, we're constantly thinking about how to grow our business, how to make it better, how to deliver a better product, right? We're always like constantly go, 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 go. And quite frankly, the doctor, when I was telling him about my heart, they said, listen, we just want to eliminate the possibility that it's your heart. You're going to be 40 years old. Thanks for the reminder. And so, of course, I was like, fine then. So anyways, I went to the cardiologist just a while ago, and I'll tell you that experience was quite fascinating. It also reminded me of what and how and all that fun stuff when it comes to tax planning, because the entire time that I was there, from the receptionist to the doctor, oh my God, because it's hair, to everything, the whole time I kept thinking, this is what I do as a tax professional. Like, this is what I do as a proactive tax planner. And that is that I went to the doctor, babies. I mean, feeling discomfort, feeling discomfort, right? And it was first the technician that put all these like doodaddies all over me, read my AKG, all that fun stuff. And then, of course, the nurse practitioner came in, asked some questions about the symptoms, blah, blah, blah. And then I gave them, the symptoms. And then like 15 minutes later, the heart doctor came in, the cardiologist, and he's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to stick a heart thingy on you to monitor you for 14 days, have you come back, do an echocardiograph. I think I said that right. And then also do a stress test on the heart. I was like, cool. And that was the end of that, right? And luckily, my insurance picked up the cost of wearing this monitor. I found out that it's quite expensive. Otherwise, I think it's like $100, $150 a day to wear it. And luckily, my insurance company is picking up the tab. So thank you, insurance. But what's quite fascinating is that's kind of like what we do, right? We just kind of create for our clients. They come in and they're paying your guys' pain, right? You sole proprietors out there, you single member LLCs out there, right? You business owners out there, your biggest pain, it's kind of like the murmuring of the heart, so to speak, is the overpayment of taxes to a government that doesn't want your money. And so essentially, you kind of seek out help. You come to a professional like ourselves, tax professionals like ourselves, tax consultants like ourselves, and you're hoping to get an answer. And here's the thing, babies. Before we can give you an answer, we have to diagnose you. We have to find out why your heart is pumping the way it's pumping. We got to figure out why finances are the way they are. We got to find out why your business is the way it is. And of course, got to find out why personally some shit's going down. So needless to say, the whole time I was there, I was like, oh my God, this is what we do as tax planners. So that's what I'm wearing. And then each time I feel like a flutter or like the way I describe the doctors is it's constant yawning that doesn't stop. And so you take a breath like a yawn, like, by the way, you guys are all going to yawn too. And when you take a yawn, you know how like naturally there's like a sense that it's completed, like you feel good, like, yeah. That's not happening to me when I yawn. In fact, I feel like I got to yawn more. And so that just keeps happening and happening. So, anyways, at the end of the day, I think it's anxiety more than likely, just saying. And why? Because babies, let me tell you what's up, right? I'm managing my tax planning company, JB Financial. I'm doing my talk show, Naked Tax Talk, and I'm trying to figure out my new platform and what I'm going to do. And then, of course, I'm figuring out my launch of my book, The ABCs of Deductions, and An Entrepreneur's Guide to Tax Write-Offs. And that's coming out June 30th to get into your guys' hands so you can start saving some money overnight, right? So I got all these things going on. And let's be real, that just all adds up to amazing sauce. That's what that boils down to. So first things first, I want to say bonjour, Lisa. That's my friend in Vancouver, Canada. If you guys are watching, this is an interactive show. The truth is you guys can comment. I will engage you via back and forth, la la las, and that's how I like to operate my show. But bonjour, Lise. Bonjour tous mes amis, ma famille française, mes amis françaises, les Canadiens français, tout le monde. Bonjour, bonsoir, bonne journée. Okay, so Justin James, can you just get the pre-order book already? You can totally do that. How? I don't know yet. But listen, for those of us in the marketing world, I think I know the answer. And that's probably a landing page that my ass is going to create tomorrow. So be on the lookout for tomorrow. Okay, Justin? So tomorrow we'll do a pre-order launch landing page. And why not, right? Let's just do this, right? So anywho's blues. Yeah. So today's been an amazing day. I spent some time. I have a CPA that's now joined forces with me. Woohoo! And her name is Snella, and she is now based in North Carolina in Raleigh. And who's giving me an angry face? Who's giving me Linda? Giving me an angry face. That's okay though. So she's ordering she's joining forces with me. And essentially, it's going to help me with all this fantasticness. And what was really fascinating is that in the training her how we do tax planning, I myself came to a brilliant conclusion. And that also came from, I got to give thanks to my current business coach, Chevelle McPherson, because essentially what happens as tax accountants, right, is our product is unique. We don't have courses yet. We don't have a product like a widget that we sell, right? We sell a service. And what I came to understand is that service-based companies that are established actually have to have certain systems in place so that we can, in fact, truly get paid for the services that we do provide, typically in advance of. And that's okay, Linda. I know you love me. I know. I was like, who gave me the anger face? I don't know. It wasn't you. I know you didn't mean to. So, but it's about the shootsy mootsies. Yeah. So service-based industry. So if you're a service-based company, right, we have to really think about when the client comes in and engages with us. And then how do we kind of let them taste us a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, how do we get them to kind of sample our goods? All right. In this case, our services. And it can't be extraordinarily expensive, right? Or not even expensive, wrong word. It can't just be like oodles and hundreds of thousands of dollars from the get-go. It's got to be something that's going to build that trust so that when you come back and you come back and go, A, here's your projection of what your tax bill is going to be, honey bunnies. And then B, when you work with moi, we're going to save you some big tons of monies so you don't have to pay Uncle Sam because he doesn't want the money. And so it turns out that, just total download this week. Amazing. So anyways, if you're a service-based business, trust me, you got to get naked with me. Let's get naked at nakedtaxtalk.com. Let's get naked at nakedtaxtalk.com because you might want to talk to me and I might share some goodies with you about how you can implement that, which then led me to an amazing conversation I had today with my video production team that I work with, and also with also one of my clients as well. And we started talking about our value and who we are, right? And where does value come from? And where does our pricing come from? And what I've observed, including myself, because listen, I'm the last one to judge anybody, and I'll tell you why. Because I've been there too, which does not give me the right to judge someone else for similar things that I see, I hear, or that's been done. And one of the things that I recognize and that I understood that I see all the time is this thing called pricing. And business owners, entrepreneurs, were always like, what do we charge? What do we charge? What do we charge? And the truth of the matter is that many of us who decided that we were done working for someone else and created our own company, we were using our employee rates. Like, this is what I made as an employee. This is what I was making per hour. And so that's kind of what we go by. And then that's what we charge business owners or other people for the services that we provide. And although that's a great place to start, the downfall there is that we can get stuck there and never change. And so the reality is the more efficient we become, the more confident we become, the more of an expert, and the more that we accept our authority in the things that we do, the price point has to change. You see, because we are now finally rising to the level that we are as professionals, regardless of what it is that we're in. So why I say that is because I was telling my intern today that back in the day, if you would have met me in 2004, okay, I would have charged you $15 an hour to file tax returns, to what I did not know at the time, complete tax plans, to do the bookkeeping, the financial preparation, you name it. I was just charging $15 an hour for this service. And what was happening is I was putting in all these hours, doing all the work, right? Now, putting it all in all the hours, doing it, right? And then I'd send a bill to the client. And the bill would barely be $100, let's just say. But then there would be an excuse. Oh, I don't have the money to pay you right now. Oh, do you think you could wait till next week when I make some more money? Oh, I mean, really, how many hours do you spend on that? 10 hours, really? Like, can you prove it to me? And so you kind of were always in this constant like cycle of like doing all the work, hoping to get paid, doing all the work, hoping to get paid, chasing the money, making the phone calls, or in my case, too intimidated to pick up the phone and say, oh, by the way, you owe me some money, honey. Like, I was too afraid to do any of that. And so I was the professional. I am the professional, right? Like doing all my work, buddies. Like I'm doing my thing. And then I'm not being compensated. So granted, this is all like years ago, like I said, back in 2004. And I went with $15 an hour because that's kind of what I saw like other people charging for like tax prep work or for bookkeeping work or whatever. And so I kind of went based on like what others were charging. Now, what Sanella reminded me of is she had said, JB, like, now you're like up there, like, I'll tell the world I'm $500 an hour. And so she's like, you're up there. And like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe it. Right. And what struck a chord with me is I realized that the reason why I can charge $500 an hour is because of multiple facets. From the personal self-acceptance that I am an expert in what I do, and I finally embrace it, I finally accept it, and I walk with all its glory, to also realizing that I have the confidence that I can deliver what I say I can deliver. If I tell you that I can save you $159,794 in taxes, I am 100% confident that I can do it and that we are going to do it. And that's what gives me the oomph to say, here's your investment to move this forward. So what I started thinking about that was like, okay, well, what gave me that confidence? What gave me the ability to say, you know what, I'm worth it now? Well, I started looking back in terms of like my value as a younger child. And my value as a younger child was really what my mother essentially placed upon me. And luckily, I had a mother that always said, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're bright, you're lovable, you're adorable, I ever said that. You're cute, like, right, you're my little teacher, right? You're going to go far in places. Like I had a mother that said those words to me. And in the beginning, I know somewhere as a child, I really believed all those things. But then somewhere, all of that went away. And where I really think some of that went away is that at the age of 12 years old, when I realized that I was gay, all of a sudden everything around me crumbled because I realized in that moment that the faith that I was brought up with no longer accepted me. I mean, just from the get-go, right? My own family, I knew like, oh my gosh, because I heard him say things, negative things about gay people. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's this sense of shame, like a big cloud, a thunderous storm of shame that just parked itself over me and then poo-pooed all over me and rained all over me. And I would go into the closet. That's where I went. That's where all gay people go when they're coming out because again, it's the shame, it's the guilt. And so I went into that closet, right? And so I come out of that closet at the age of 14. That's a whole other speech for a whole other time. But I come out at the age of 14 years old. My friend Ricky, who became my boyfriend at that time in high school. So Ricky, if you're watching, shout out to you. And would end up helping me to really come out of that closet and really step into who I was as a gay person. And what I guess I'm saying about this is that my level of confidence was like, it just was just pushed down. It was pushed down because at the end of the day, I was trying to, and let's be real, all of us, including me, spending all of my waking hours trying to live up to other people's standards, to live up to what other people wanted of me, expected of me, right? Just this way, talk this way, look this way, fuck this way, kiss this way, whatever. Like, this is what I was like, oh my God, I gotta like live up to your standards. And the reality is that subconsciously I was like devaluing myself because I felt like if I didn't have the confidence to do something, then I just wouldn't do it. Isn't that true for like almost all of us? Like I didn't feel I had the confidence to pull through and to do it. And because I didn't feel like I had the confidence to do it, I didn't do it, which meant I was afraid to move forward. And I remember there being many times where I've had to face my fears and rise up to the person that I am today. And one of those areas, I remember when I had so much confidence like dumped on me. I was 17 years old and I was asked to represent my high school for the Arizona Boys State. And it was this organization that teaches young boys how to be politicians. And the idea was to inspire you so that you could go run for office and you can make a difference in lives, right? Through law. And sure as shit, I arrived at NAU where they had it. And the whole time I get there, I see newspaper articles. And there are articles saying that gay people shouldn't be allowed to run for office, that being gay is a sin, that being gay is XYZ, like you name it. So here my own peers are basically saying that being queer is wrong. And again, naturally, I went into the closet because I truly was afraid. And it wasn't until Friday, the last day of this event, they had an open mic session. And I was sitting in the back, 600 boys the stadium filled up with, 600 boys. And I was sitting in the back. And I remember standing up for no reason. I stood up and I walked down the aisle. And I went up the stairs. And I remember grabbing onto the microphone. And really, you could say this is when I began my speaking world, my speaking life. And I grabbed the microphone, looking down at 600 faces, 1,200 eyeballs, one bright light shining down on me. And I have no idea what I'm going to say, except I uttered these words. Hi, I'm Jonathan Bengal, and I am that faggot. I am that queer. I am that homo, and I will not remain silent anymore. And I put the microphone down. And the crowd went crazy, gasp of air puffing out of their lungs. And I stepped off that stage, and all I got were the amazing cat calls like, woohoo, yeah, JB, you got balls, you're amazing, you're awesome. And I guess you could say that in that moment, confidence arrived. I felt like I could, in fact, stand up and speak up and appear naked now in the future gay and out here with a heart monitor showing on a talk show. Because the fear of being beat up, the fear of being spit on, which used to happen quite often, actually, the fear of being belittled, all those fears didn't come true that moment. It was the reverse. Everyone was cheering me on. They were all loving me. They were all amazed by me. And that gave me a little bit of confidence. Confidence that I did not realize I would stick into the back of my pocket and I would walk with it. And then each time people would say to me, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't speak like that. You can't show up naked on your show. When they say those things to me, I pull out of my little pocket that little dose of confidence. And I go, but that ain't true. It isn't true. Just because I show up naked on my show doesn't mean people won't love me. People won't like me. Just because I show up naked, people won't invest with me to be their amazing elite tax consultant. It's not true. And I'm able to use that confidence. And what I would later learn is that confidence translated into my business. When I started out as a tax planner 2 years ago, in 2018, when I became a certified tax coach at the American Institute of Certified Tax Coaches, I had no freaking clue what I was doing. And so I didn't have the confidence to charge the value of the savings that I was charging. And again, I was still in that place where I was struggling to make $40,000, $50,000 a year constantly. And it wasn't until I realized that, wait a minute, JB, each time you file a tax return, each time you put together a tax strategy without realizing you were putting a strategy together, you were saving people hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes year after year. And thanks to Dominique, the founder of the American Institute of Certified Tax Coaches, she showed me the value. And so I began to slowly change my pricing, which is really a reflection of my own value of self. And I began to up the game, so to speak. And one of the big fears that we have as business owners is the fear that if we raise our rates, people will stop doing business with us. People will turn around and leave us. For me, that fear came back to my own personal self. That fear came from my need to be loved at all costs. And as a result, I would spend all of my youth, my 20s, my 30s-ish, looking for people to love me, to like me, to approve of me, to think that, to get their approval meant everything to me. And I was afraid of being the authority in what I do because I was afraid that I would be called that bitch, that asshole, that whatever we want to say about someone else. I was afraid of that. And it took me a while to finally accept that, yeah, babies, I am all that. Just like when I was 17 years old and I held that microphone and I referred to myself in the most disgusting of words that can be used against somebody. I realize that I can do that now. But see, our fear that we're going to lose the client, we're going to lose the money, stops us from raising our value. And so out of desperation, we sleep with whomever, if we do it on a personal level, or we accept anybody who comes in our door to work with us. And more importantly, we discount our services more and more and more and more just to have somebody come and be part of our world. It's detrimental because you will always be spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, trying to close deals, trying to make the living that you want. And what happens is that you end up with, which I had hundreds and hundreds of clients at the highest of my firm, hundreds of clients, hundreds. And I still was struggling. And it wasn't until I started to look at myself and say, JB, you are better than this. You are more valuable than this. You are worthy of something better. And so I began to change my pricing to reflect my confidence, to reflect my value. And yes, it happened. Yes, people didn't come back. And yes, people literally said, you're too expensive. Yeah, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go with somebody else. And you know how much effort and energy it took? A lot. Which is why I had to go to my confidence pocket and pull out the confidence and remind myself, JB, it's okay that they leave you. It's okay that they go somewhere else. Let them, because there's someone else that's there for them that's going to take care of them. Have open arms instead and be ready to embrace the people that love you, that like you, that trust you, and they want to be part of your world. And when I started to do that, two magical things happened. One, my prices, my value increased naturally, of course. But the clients, of course, shrunk a little bit. Well, of course. But guess what? I still made multi-six figures. I have a full-time staff. I have a director of operations that manages now everything on the back end. I have an entire team that have 10 people who help me with my marketing, my videos, my landing pages, you name it. I got 10 people who work for me doing that. I now have an intern that's helping me with the tax planning and all the other stuff now that's coming out of the Windworks. And yet I have fewer clients I work with. And that is because of the value that I'm providing. Because people are seeing finally like, yo, JB, you have the confidence to do this. And I want to be part of that world. I want to come and join you. I want to be in your circle. It got me thinking today. It's because of my confidence, my willingness to say it's okay if someone says no to my services. As I keep saying for the past 3 weeks, it feels like we have as entrepreneurs, think about this. We have nothing to lose and everything to gain. That's the truth. That's the truth. All right, so this one hits very close to home for me. This is Clinton. Glad I found tax planning so I can do my own Stuart Smalley and look myself in the mirror and give myself affirmations. Oh my gosh, Clinton. Yes, yes, yes. You know, I didn't even know that there was a thing called mirror talking or mirror, that kind. I didn't even know that existed. And I remember the first time that I looked in the mirror and I stopped judging myself, right? Because each time we judge ourselves, we're actually devaluing who we are as a person. And in business, it seeps its way in like a nasty STD. It seeps its way in and it devalues our price, right? And so I remember that I was in the bathroom, of course, because that's where everyone has a mirror. And I was looking at myself and I'm like, oh my God, look at the bald. Like, look at this. Like, look at my cute little balding pattern going on. That just means I'm getting older and I'm aging like fine wine. And I was looking at my rolls and I was looking at, different things. And I stopped myself. I was like, what the hell? What are you doing? And I started to look at myself in the reflection that was looking back at me. Kind of like right now, if I look at my screen, I can see me looking at me. And I said, bull, no more. Positive. What's the positive out of this? And so I started to tell myself, actually, JB, you really are an attractive man, right? I love, look at the skin. Everyone tells me I got fabulous skin. Yes, I finally believe you. Everyone says to me, oh, I love those dimples. Thank you. I do too now. Everyone said, oh my God, I love your smile. Thank you. Although these are my $5,000 smile, so to speak. I got braces when I was 23, something I rewarded myself with. I rewarded myself with LASIK too, by the way. But right, people say you're smart, you're intelligent, you're bright, you're lovable, you're kind, you're all that. And for the first time, I looked in the mirror and I said to myself those same things. And I allowed myself to fall back in love with myself. And I remember saying to myself, I love you, Jonathan. I love you. You are everything. You are amazing. You are special. You are a genius. You are a tax planner. You are an amazing person. And yeah, you're good looking. And yeah, you have some really good sex with people because they always come back. Right? Like, let's be real. And what I discovered is that when we do that self-talk, this is what happens. Are you ready? Who's looking at me? Can they hear me? Like they're standing there, like the whole world's looking in your bathroom and watching yourself talk to yourself in the mirror. And do you know what I realized what that comes from? It comes from the fact that people say to us, because when we say things like that, right? Like, yeah, I know I'm smart. Yeah, I know I'm that. Yeah, I know. What's the judgment term they're using with us? Oh, don't be conceited, right? Sit back, chill, take a chill pill. You're being conceited, right? To diminish our light, to diminish our being, to diminish who we are. That's what that's about. But see, that's where we have to again pull out of our pocket of confidence and go, I don't think so, fool. I don't think so. You may tell me to dim my light. You may tell me that I'm unprofessional. You may tell me that I'm queer. You may tell me that I'm all these other things. You may say all that. But you know, all I have to do is look in the mirror, in the reflection, and see my soul looking back at me. And I say my soul because the person that's looking back at me in the mirror has never, ever been told by anybody in this world who they should be, how they should sound, what they should wear, how they should write, sound. I already said that. All the things that people place upon ourselves. Yes, mother, exactly. Corrupting our mind. Exactly. Our soul, the reflection in the mirror, has never, ever been subjected to the negativity, to the shaming, to the judging that others place upon us. Never has it ever. But you know who's done that? That's right. You. You've done it to your own soul. But your own soul just goes, okay, whatever. Like when you're done looking at this mirror reflection, I'm out. Peace. Cool. And then you come back again and you do the whole thing again, right? Your soul is pure love. Your soul is pure kindness. Your soul is pure. So what I tell, believe it or not, my tax clients, they're poor things, poor guys out there. Some of you know who I'm talking. Lisa, you know I'm talking to you, right? You come in here and you come in for a tax return prep and you walk out talking to yourself in the mirror and falling in love with your soul again. Because that's our purpose in life, is to fall in love with ourselves and to gain the confidence that we can execute anything and everything that we say. And so you're absolutely right, Clinton. Looking in the mirror and self-talking is powerful. And here's something that I will mention. I did this with a friend of mine. When I was talking to him about this concept of talking to yourself in the mirror, what I observed is that yes, it's the like, I'm afraid to talk to myself. And so finally my friend got into it, right? Like, you're cute, you're smart, you're this and that. And as soon as he mentioned the word but, now me watching, I stepped in and I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't say but, because there's no conditions here. You see, the moment the word but comes up, it's a condition. It means it strips away the truth. There's no conditions. We focus on the positive and we stay there as much as we can. Because remember, our reflection does not know judgment and shame. Only this person here in this existence, in this world, is experiencing it. And so our soul, if we allow it, will actually talk back to us and will affirm to us the things that we already know about ourselves. That we are beautiful, that we are loved, that we are amazing. You know, if you're looking in the mirror and you're going, but how is that possible? All one has to do is ask themselves, has there never been a person that has never, ever, ever wanted to be your friend, wanted to be your lover, wanted to be your client, wanted to be around you? And if you're honest with yourself and allow your soul to respond, the answer is going to come back as no. So we already know that statement that I'm not worthy, I don't deserve it, I don't have any friends, I'm alone, all that. We already know that's a falsity. We already know it's not true. The self-talk is so powerful. And here's another thing I learned by saying it out loud, like I'm talking to you right now, out loud. Because the reality is the subconscious mind, again, this is my interpretation, by the way. The subconscious mind is that little voice that we hear when our mouths are shut. And that's that little voice that's like, yep, yep, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too ugly, you're too young, you're too old. Do you know how many people age discriminate against me, by the way? Because I look younger than I really am. That's been my whole life. In a way, I find it a blessing. But I digress. It's that little voice, right? You're this, you're not that, you're right. What I've discovered is that when you talk to yourself in the positive way in the mirror, that little voice cannot talk either. They cannot coexist at the same time. The internal brain that you're hearing yourself cannot talk while you're talking out loud. And so in many ways, we can say this is how we train that little voice in there to flip it around so that it only talks positive things to you, so that it becomes, again, part of your soul, part of who you are, and transfers it back finally to you here in this existence. Around the area that you have to engage with people and the technologies and everything else. And we take that in, we make it ours, right? We own it. That's stepping into our power. That's stepping into who we are. And let me tell you, babies, when we step into the power of who we are in all of its glory, and all the shit that people say to us in their attempts to put us down, to diminish our light, to devalue us, to negotiate with our rates, to say, how about I just pay you $100 for that complicated tax return? They try their best to devalue us. And when we own our power, ourselves, and fall in love with that, and allow no one to diminish it, allow no one to tarnish us, allow no one to take away our being, then we can have the confidence to rise up and raise our value and stand with confidence, knowing that we are capable of it all and that we are it all. There's something powerful about that. It's stepping into the authority. You know, a thought that I have this. Thank you so much, Corbin. By the way, Corbin, real fast, Corbin was actually an LDS. He is, I believe, you still are LDS, if I'm correct, Corbin. He was a missionary that came to visit us. I was about 14 or 15 years old, and actually helped our family to convert to Mormonism. And Corbin, I remember you and Elder Jonathan, and I remember asking you guys this question: if my dog dies, what happens to their soul? And what sold me is that you didn't give me the old, oh, it's just a dog. You sold me when you said your dog's soul will meet you in heaven. Just so you know, I don't know if I ever shared that with you, but that's the honest truth. What I'm saying here is that another thought is that I will be the first to confess that I was afraid of being seen as an authority. I really was. And what I had an amazing soul searcher with Dr. Charlene. And Dr. Charlene, if you're watching this, a shout out to you on many levels. Dr. Charlene Reeves. She performed soul surgery on me. It changed my life. And what we got to was this reality, my own false perception, that an authority figure is the bully. An authority figure is the bitch. It's that asshole. It's that whatever, right? It's the cops, right? It's the brutality, right? That's the authority. And because of that, I didn't want to be the authority. I didn't want to step into that role because I didn't want people to think those things about me. But interestingly enough, when I decided I was going to step up and I was going to embrace the term authority, this amazing thing happened. And that is, I created boundaries. You see, in business, many of us lack boundaries. We lack the boundaries to say no. We lack the boundaries to say, today is not a good time for you to become a client with me. What that also translates to is on the personal side, which is when people want you to do them favors, when people want to have sex with you that maybe you don't want to have sex with them, when, family members make requests of you, when all these other things on a personal level, if we don't have boundaries there either. And so we end up doing things we don't really want to do. And all that creates is resentment. And now we're like, oh, great, I'm doing the thing I didn't want to do. And it turns out in business, it's the same thing. You build up resentment. Ugh, I got to do all these things. And right, that's what happens. Boundaries is part of being the authority. Boundaries is what allows us to say, these are the things that you must do to become part of my life. So with that, in closing, I hope that today's message was really powerful for you guys. I really felt that it needed to be shared, and that's why I shared it. And I'll never forget Dr. Shalene's words when she told me that when spirit has a message to be delivered and understands that we're conduits of message, that we should share it. And that's what I'm doing. And exactly that. Like Janet, by the way, if you guys don't know who Janet is, you guys got to know Janet. Janet is the magic maker behind JB Financial, Naked Tax Talk, and now my new branding, Jonathan Bangle, the coach. This woman, by the way, is so freaking magical. I'm about to get emotional, actually. Because Janet, her magic sauce, she's so fucking brilliant. Because what she does as a brander is she listens to you. She listens to everything about you. What are you? Who are you? What's your purpose? And she takes all of that and she goes back into, I don't know where she goes. I think this is what you do, Janet. I think you do like this like transcendental trance. And then I think what happens is you take on our persona and then you come back with this amazing, 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 beautiful portfolio of how you're going to present the world, or how we're going to be presented to the world. So if you don't know Janet, you got to get to know her. She made my logo, Janet, this one right here, Naked Tax Talk. This logo is credit to her. She created that logo for me. My logo for JB Financial. Everyone knows it. It's going to collapse on me, but okay, hold on. See. She created this logo for me, completely rebranded that for me to capture the essence of JB Financial. Janet, I'm telling you right now, you really have and are fundamental in my business. I consider you part of my core team in my branding and in my marketing and what it is that I represent. And the truth of the matter is, if you are a business owner, you need to be seen and you need to be heard. Therefore, you need to connect with Janet because she is magical. I'm telling you right now, she's magical. So with that, Janet, yes, I understand. Negative self-talk and boundaries are very difficult. And I can promise you that if we can focus on the positive things, find one thing that you feel positive about yourself, one thing. And what you can do, really honestly, one method is every day when you're brushing your teeth, because I know I do, every day we brush our teeth, right? We can self-talk ourselves positively, and you can remind yourself that you are a freaking genius. And I challenge you to tell that to yourself. And the boundaries, all that simply means is that the fear, not having the fear, letting go of the fear, that if you say no, or that I'm sorry, but I can't take you on because you've not done X, Y, Z and L and MP, all that, it's okay because I promise you someone like me who loves you and who values you will pay you for your value. So with that in mind, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who listened to me. I do have a call to action because this is what we learn in marketing. So my call to action, people, my ask is that you sign up and become part of my launch team for my book, The ABCs of Deductions, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Write-Offs. Because I know that this book is going to change your life. I promise you that if you're a business owner, you're a sole proprietor, you're a single member LLC, you just started your business, and you have no idea what you're legally entitled to deduct, I promise you when you read this book, it will change your life literally overnight. It will add 15.3% more money in your pocket without paying more in taxes, even if it feels wrong. So I'm asking you guys to text 555-888, and you're going to text the word under the cover, all one word. Do it now. If you would like to be part of my show, I like to bring on guests and have them talk freely and openly about those three pillars: personal development, business development, and financial development. Reach out to us. Let's get naked at nakedtaxtalk.com. And let's get you on here, and let's get you so that you can be seen and you can be heard by all the people out there. So again, my call to action is join my launch team, the ABCs of Deductions, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Write-Offs. All you have to do is text under the cover to 55888. So I do see some couple more comments coming in. And thank you, Mom. I appreciate you being a big fan of mine. And I love you too. And I do love, quite honestly, all of the people that have entered my life. And I'm very thankful for my clients, because without my clients, I wouldn't have JB Financial and the success that it is. And I'm so thankful for all of the people that came and surrounded me so that I could create Naked Tax Talk and to bring you this authenticity myself finally. And I'd like to give thanks to all of the business coaches, to my very first one, to my current one, because I know that each and every single one of us requires someone to be our coach, someone to be our guide, so that they can show us and make us aware. And now, through awareness, we have the freedom of choice. So with that, I say good night, good morning, bonjour, bonne nuit. Merci pour me voir, mon émission ce soir. Et merci pour tous. And thank you for everything. And may you all be happy. And may you all never be separated from your happiness. May you have a great day.